It was a mild evening on April 19th, 1989, in New York City. The sun had set over the sprawling metropolis, leaving Central Park shrouded in an eerie darkness. The park, usually a haven for joggers and city dwellers seeking a momentary escape, would soon become the scene of one of the most infamous crimes in New York's history. As the clock neared 9 p.m., a group of teenagers from East Harlem, numbering between 20 and 32, entered the northern end of Central Park. Their intentions were unclear, but what followed was a string of violent acts that would shake the city to its core. The teenagers moved like a pack through the park, attacking cyclists, pedestrians and joggers. Innocent people out for a night stroll found themselves the targets of unprovoked violence. Amid the chaos, one crime stood out: the brutal assault and rape of 28-year-old Trisha Meili, a woman who had simply been out for her nightly jog. She was knocked down, dragged nearly 300 feet off the roadway, and viciously attacked in a manner so brutal that it left her unrecognizable. When she was discovered hours later lying in a shallow ravine, she was barely clinging to life. She had suffered severe brain damage, lost 75 to 80% of her blood, and was in a coma that would last 12 days. The police were quick to react. Raymond Santana and Kevin Richardson, both just 14 years old, were among the first to be apprehended near the park. They were soon joined by Stephen Lopez, Antron McCrae, Youssef Salam, and Corey Wise, names that would later become synonymous with a grave miscarriage of justice. The investigation was swift but flawed. Over the course of several hours, the teenagers, some as young as 14, were subjected to intense and coercive interrogations without the presence of legal counsel. By the early hours of April 21st, the police had extracted videotaped confessions from several of the boys. These confessions, riddled with inconsistencies and discrepancies, would later be the cornerstone of the prosecution's case. But the confessions were not what they seemed. Under immense pressure and fearful of the consequences, the boys had implicated themselves in crimes they did not commit. They described in chilling detail how they had been part of a mob that attacked Trisha Meili, but none admitted to the actual rape. Each claimed to have only played a minor role restraining the jogger or witnessing the attack. Despite their later recantations, the damage was done. The media descended on the case with a fury, branding the boys as a gang of violent youths who had terrorized the park. The term wilding, a misinterpretation of the phrase doing the wild thing, was seized upon by the press, amplifying the public's fear and anger. The city was gripped by a wave of outrage, and the accused teenagers were vilified long before their trial began. Months later, as the case went to trial, the confessions were played in court. Despite the lack of physical evidence linking the boys to the crime, and despite their claims of coercion, the jury convicted them. They were sentenced to prison terms ranging from 7 to 13 years, their youth and innocence overshadowed by a rush to judgment. For years, the Central Park Five, as they came to be known, languished in prison. But the truth would not stay buried forever. In 2002, Matias Reyes, a convicted serial rapist already serving time, confessed to the assault on Trisha Meili. His DNA matched the evidence found at the crime scene, a match that had eluded investigators all those years ago. The confessions of the Central Park Five were lies, born out of fear and coercion, and their convictions were finally vacated. The story of the Central Park Five is not just a tale of a horrific crime. It is a testament to the failures of a justice system that was all too eager to find someone to blame, regardless of the truth. It is a story of racial profiling, wrongful conviction, and the enduring fight for justice.